Hello there, beautiful friends from around the world. I'm Blackenfist, and I'm here to answer your questions again. So, why not go straight into these questions that you have thought up so hard for me? Super Jaiyan, the greatness that he is, asks me, why is the Shinsuke Kenkuchi music so damn good? It brings us a sense of wonder. It actually captures that essence of fantasy and that martial arts vibe that Dragon Ball really gives. It's a fantasy martial arts epic. The Shinsuke Kenkuchi music, pretty much, at least in musical form, captures Dragon Ball's essence to the best degree out of any of the soundtracks. That's why I think it's the best one. What's your name, and how big is your cunt? Well, I think you already know my name, Geekdom, and my cunt is as big as yours. Oh, Quaman here asks me if Floyd Mayweather the greatest boxer ever because of his undefeated record. Well, I just want to say that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer ever because of his undefeated record. But, that also makes Joe Calzaghe, Rocky Marciano, a whole bunch of other, I think there's 24 world champion boxers that defeated undefeated. So I guess all of those guys are the greatest boxer ever, at the same time, I suppose. I'm Dirty Dan. I just want to say that I do believe that Patrick was Dirty Dan. He asks, what do you think is the story of Black Goku? I think it is Quinn getting revenge for Piccolo. That's a very good theory, but it's honestly too early to speculate what that story is going to be. Does Yamcha gets too much hate? I guess not. I mean, I don't think he gets too much hate per se. He just gets too much flack. He gets a lot of criticism, you could say, for, his lackluster performances, and honestly, to be truthful, they kind of are. Could you write the link of the fourth ending piano cover? I can send you the full version and the other DB piano covers too. Thanks. I'm not sure. I'll have to find it, but I don't have it with me right now, honestly. Do you think that having an all-powerful character like Zeno can get rid of some of the tension? Yes, that is a possibility, unless, of course, we don't know all of Zeno's capabilities, unless, like I said before, that line was hyperbole. We don't know too much. He was just introduced. I think it's too early. He was just introduced. Let's see what happens. But honestly, it all depends on the writer. It all depends on how the writing of the show is done. If the writing of the show is done well, then honestly, we can excuse a lot of the things. It can be constructed in a way that is still can provide good drama. Let's just say that. Will you Blackenfist me? I'm sorry, man. I think I only do that to myself. How come when Dende healed Ultimate Gohan when they were fighting Boo Tanks, he didn't get stronger and... I don't know what that means. Boo Tanks pass. I'm not sure. I think you're talking about Zenkai boosts. Who knows? Obviously, the reason Gohan didn't get stronger is because Toriyama didn't write it that way. Although I guess that you could say that kind of contradicts what has been previously established. When Saiyans get pretty injured, they go through a Zenkai boost. Although Gohan is a hybrid Saiyan, I don't know if that has been established for hybrid Saiyans. Has there ever been a point in the show where Gohan got very injured and got a Zenkai boost? I'm not sure. That's actually debatable, so I don't know. Is it possible if Pan beat Baby Broly? Pan should have the power around 10,000 as well, more than half. Yeah, I think Pan definitely would have the power to beat Baby Broly. I'll just put it like that. Do you think you have a bigger D than Emperor Big D? Well, first of all, my name Blackenfist doesn't have a D in it, so I don't have, a D in my name. So, Do you think Manaka is stronger than Yamcha? That's a very good question. I mean, I once again, I guess we're bagging on Yamcha here, but that's a very interesting question. We're not sure. Honestly, we're not even sure how strong Manaka is, honestly. We're not. I assume that Manaka has some fighting capabilities. It's just that he's nowhere near, like, God levels like he was for that tournament. So, but who knows? Maybe he has no fighting capabilities whatsoever. I don't know. Apart from Future Trunks and Black Goku, what do you think Akira Toriyama will implement other, like, the Z Fighters? I think what you mean is other characters. I mean, yeah, he could, honestly, obviously Goku and Vegeta will be involved. He said the Kais were going to be involved. Besides the people that were said to be, you know, announced to be involved, I don't know, honestly. Maybe Gohan. Honestly, I'm going to go with Gohan. I think Gohan's going to be involved to some degree, because we've already had Gohan being foreshadowed to be involved in something, and they didn't do that in Universe 6, so, you know, I'm thinking they're going to do it in this arc, and if they don't, then that's bad writing on Super's part, but whatever. Favorite Krillin Yamcha TN moment? My favorite TN moment probably would have to him going up against Nappa. You know, Krillin Yamcha. My favorite Yamcha moment definitely is when he fought TN in the 22nd tournament, and Krillin... That's a tough one. Krillin has a lot of moments. Maybe his introduction, honestly. Who knows? Who is your honest opinion is stronger, Super Perfect Cell or Deborah? I've been asked this question many times. That he was kind of worded very weirdly. Super Perfect Cell. Fave Goku. I guess favorite version of Goku. I don't have a favorite version of Goku. I mean, that's kind of tough, really. I don't know, really. Does the quality of the story in Super bother you, or are you more looking for a fun experience? That's something that I think I'm going to have to wait until it sets in on me a little bit more. And the reason I'm saying this is, guys, is because I'm currently rewatching Universe 6 to review it, because I really want to rewatch this arc to review it so I can get a better perspective on it. And quite honestly, guys, I'm going to say this in my review, but just to make this short, I'm actually enjoying my second viewing of the Universe 6 arc than my first viewing. So I'm going to leave it to the review, but yeah, so I'm just going to... Yeah. Who is the fastest DBZ character other than Majin Buu? Well, Goku. I mean, he can pretty much do instant transmission, right? Are you excited for Dragon Ball Z Universe 2? I mean, it's kind of weird because ever since Xenoverse and the success that Xenoverse had, I was very well aware of it. I knew that Xenoverse 2 was inevitable. So I'm not necessarily excited for it because I saw this coming from literally like the first month of Xenoverse's release. You know. So, you know, if Trump becomes president, will you be deported? No, I won't. Will you ever go on a sushi date with Kwame? Sure, I mean, yeah, but we kind of live far away, so that could be a problem. He lives in Antarctica. Could be a problem there. Would you, who would win in a fight, for Neverworld or Double 4 Anime? I think my money's on Double 4 Anime on that one, I think. Who is your favorite villain in DBZ? My favorite villain is Cell. Well, if you're just talking about DBZ, it probably would be Cell, but if it's Dragon Ball as a whole, it would be Emperor Pilaf. Do you think Bardock will return in Dragon Ball Super? Guys, okay, stop. Okay, and I already see your second question. These kind of questions do kind of get me mad. Bardock, father of Goku, is not canon to the manga. It's not canon, and Bardock is dead. Okay, I'm just gonna say that right there. Name your top 3 moments in DBZ. Do you think the Falconer score did a great job making the scene better? Well, I mean, I think that the Falconer score, I mean, people like Jay might disagree with me, but I think the Falconer score did do, even though I think the Kenkuchi score is the definitive soundtrack of Dragon Ball and is better, I think that certain scenes I prefer watching it in the Falconer score. Probably one of the most infamous scenes is, of course, the Super Saiyan 3 transformation. I think the Falconer soundtrack did an excellent job in that scene. I also like another one of my favorite scenes is when Gohan kills Cell. That one I do like in the Falconer soundtrack a little bit more. But, you know, overall, in my opinion, Kenkuchi did better. but there are certain spots that I do think Falconer did, in my opinion, I prefer. But, you know, that's just my opinion, guys. Why didn't Future Trunks go into the new name and use their Dragon Balls and bring back the Z Fighters instead of messing up timelines? I don't even know what this means. Why didn't Future Trunks go into a new name? You kind of wrote that all messed up. I don't even know what you mean. Are you big on MMA? If so, what are your thoughts on Conor McGregor's fiasco? Well, I'm not a big into MMA. I'm a casual viewer of MMA. And I don't know what you mean about the Conor McGregor fiasco. Are you talking about him and Floyd? You have to be more specific. SSG3 Vegito pre-God versus any revived Frieza. Okay, come on, guys. Vegito could easily take out Frieza. I think yeah, easily. Did you prefer watching Dragon Ball series dubbed or subbed? Well, I'm currently in the process of watching all of Dragon Ball subbed. Honestly, guys, watching it in dubbed or subbed, I mean, it's Dragon Ball to me. Look, I'm a Dragon Ball fan, okay? Even Geekdom, who's a huge fan, is not like this. I am a Dragon Ball fan. Unlike people like purists, I will watch it dubbed and subbed. It doesn't matter to me. I get enjoyment out of it. I get enjoyment out of almost everything. Honestly, yes, it verges on fanboyism. If it's Dragon Ball, I will get enjoyment out of it, you know? So, that's just pretty much the bottom line, honestly. Is Omega Shenron still the most badass endgame boss? I guess. Did Cell get Zenkai boost even in his... Well, that's his super perfect form. His super perfect form is him getting a Zenkai boost, essentially. If you could have anyone else be the next villain, who would it be? Well, first of all, I wouldn't want a previous villain to be the next villain. I would want an entirely new villain. I think that since the Frieza thing, I think that bringing back old villains is, you know, let's not do that right now. We need new villains. We need new characters. We know we're getting more episodes of Super, but what are your thoughts on this? Has the quality of Super improved? I think the quality has improved from the Universe 6 arc from the previous 2 arcs, yes. Do you think if Gohan sees F Trunks again, that he is going to train again to get stronger? That's anyone's guess. I'm not really sure. Favorite strain of bacteria? I like the one that entered the 21st tournament. What do you think was the best fight in the Universal Tournament? Also, which is the most interesting fight? Well, I think that obviously the Goku versus Hit, you know, it seems a little too obvious, doesn't it? What fighting stance does Goku commonly use when fighting? I'm not a martial arts expert. I don't know much about like traditional martial arts, so you would have to ask someone else. In fact, actually, you should probably ask Derek Padula. He actually would know something about that. Actually, if future Trunks, If future Trunksu, Krillin, SSJ Broly were to fuse, could they beat Bog Beerus? Well, that's... Jeez. Well, obviously, Bills is an extremely weak character. I mean, the fact that he's like a fan, like a amalgamation of a fan term, like Mystic Gohan. Obviously, Bills is very weak. He's not like Beerus. Beerus is the god of destruction. Bills is kind of like the fan vomit that was created on the internet. So Bills, man, Bills could honestly be bitten by Yamcha himself, honestly, if you really think about it. How much would you say your knowledge of Dragon Ball is in total? Give it in a percentage. You mean out of all the knowledge? Considering if you put all the things that you could know about Dragon Ball, possibly know about it, I don't know. I don't even think Akira Toriyama's knowledge is at 100% if you really literally say all the things that you could possibly know about Dragon Ball. Honestly, I think my knowledge is around like maybe 60%. I think maybe a little bit more, maybe 80. I don't know. Man, that's a really tough one. When Funny dubs Super, do you think it'll air on American television? Probably. Dr. Gero versus Frieza. Not Golden Frieza. Well, I think that Dr. Gero... That's a tough one. I think that they're going to be pretty similar. in strength, but it's a tough one, honestly. I think that maybe Frieza would take an edge over Dr. Gero, because even if Dr. Gero is stronger in terms of power, Frieza, I think, is more durable. I mean, his body withstood the explosion of a planet. I'm not sure if Dr. Gero's body can withstand something like that. What is the most idiotic statement that you've heard of Dragon Ball fan about Dragon Ball? There's too many to name, dude. So is it safe to say that Goku and Vegeta never mastered SSJ2? Also, I plan to rewatch the series in Japanese. Is it worth it? I think it is worth watching it in Japanese. I've done that. I'm doing that right now. As for mastering SSJ2, I mean, I guess. Honestly, SSJ2 is a different transformation than Super Saiyan 1, so who knows? I mean, the rules could be a little different, so, you know. And your last question is, I already answered, and I think, why is Kenkuchi's score so much better than the Falconer one? I think to put a long story short, I mean, I could make an entire video on that, explaining it maybe, like, for 15 minutes, but to put it simply, Kenkuchi captures more of what Dragon Ball is than Falconer does, to put it in a very simple statement. But those are the Twitter questions, guys. I'm moving on to Ask.fm right now, and here we go. Who the fuck is then the Nameless Namek? I keep hearing about him. I'm kind of confused. Please, thank you. Okay, guys. The Nameless Namek is the Namekian that was when Piccolo and Kami were fused, pretty much. That's who I call him the Nameless Namek because we don't know his name. Do you care about Geekdom's well-being? Have you considered gathering your fellow Z-Tubers and staging an intervention for him? Only then can we all come together and explain to him how a simple look at a dictionary will show him that what the word if means. Well, I'm not sure about that. Honestly, knowing Geekdom, I didn't know that Geekdom had a trouble with the word if. So, I mean, maybe I'll have to look for that. Will we ever see a convention dedicated to Dragon Ball? I don't see why not, since bronies have their own convention. You know, I was a little bit like, come on, having a whole convention on Dragon Ball, but now that I think about it, I mean, yeah, that's true. If My Little Pony can have conventions just on that one thing, I would imagine that Dragon Ball is bigger than My Little Pony, right? So, I mean, it's kind of, you know what? I mean, if they could do one on My Little Pony, I don't see why they couldn't do one on Dragon Ball. So, yeah, I mean, why not, really, right? How can Goku ride the Nimbus since he is so selfish? You know, that's a good question. I mean, he is supposed to be pure of heart. I don't know, maybe pure of heart is not particularly a very, how should I say, a very specific statement. It's not something that's very specified. So, I mean, pure heart could almost mean a lot of things, I guess. So, I mean, you know, it's magic, man. It's just magic. Gohan was in Super Saiyan was less than 50% of Gohan's full power, right? Doesn't that mean that the 100x multiplier from the Daizenshuu is inaccurate? I'm not sure what multiplier you're talking about here, so for me to comment, I wouldn't know. I pretty much wouldn't know. So I'm not sure what you're talking about there, so I'm sorry. Who has made the Daizenshus? Did Toriyama have influence on them? Yes, Toriyama had influence on them. As for who made them, I do believe it was a bunch of the staff of Toei. And obviously Toriyama had a huge influence on them. As for anything else, honestly, I couldn't answer that for you right now. Even though the Daizenshu says that Piccolo's power level is around 1,000, that doesn't make any sense, since Popo said that he is nothing compared to Kami, and we know Kami. Okay, first of all, that doesn't mean that Popo is simply referring to himself as power, okay? It could mean that Kami has very otherworldly powers. Kami had the ability to create the Dragon Balls. That doesn't necessarily mean correlate with any power levels. So obviously, and not to mention, Kami is the god of Earth, the guardian of Earth. So in status, in terms of powers, in terms of all that, maybe that's what he could have referred to. So, you know, doesn't just have to mean having powers. Are you planning on having children? That's something I really don't think about right now. Do you think if so welcome to the club. I don't even know what you mean, man. Who's the biggest moron in the series? Biggest moron in the series? It's a hard one. Oolong, maybe Oolong. When will you be doing the questionnaire that Deviant tagged you to do? I have no idea, man. Oh, I didn't even know that Deviant tagged me to do anything, honestly. I'm just learning that about right now, man. Alright, guys, now let's just go to random questions. Do you think MMA, specifically UFC? Do you watch MMA, specifically UFC? If so, what are your thoughts on the Conor McGregor stuff? Would you be interested in seeing him fight Floyd? No, I would not. Conor McGregor is an mixed martial artist. Floyd is a boxer. There's no way that Conor McGregor would be able to beat Floyd in a boxing match. There's no way that Floyd would be able to beat Conor McGregor in an MMA match. It's completely ridiculous and cherry picking of the highest order for this fight to even be taking place. But there are some boxing stuff on YouTube and everything. There's boxing fans, and I don't know, man. Let me tell you something. Boxing fans, in my opinion, are actually more there's a lot of dumb things that are said in Dragon Ball, in the Dragon Ball fandom, but I think that boxing fans are I know it's not like it's completely different, but boxing fans are definitely dumber than Dragon Ball fans. They say it's some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. It honestly makes me I feel like I lose IQ points listening to some of the stuff that's said in the boxing fandom. It's cancer, pretty much. It's pretty much cancer. But anyway, no, this fight should not be taking place. It's ridiculous that this is even taking. It's stupid. It's stupid. But anyway, here we go. What else do we got here? Why Goku never thought Gohan relevant techniques, like the Spirit Bomb? That's a very people always have asked this question. Why doesn't Goku teach the techniques that he knows to other people? I think that, first of all, to truly answer this question, you cannot answer it from an in-universe perspective. You have to answer it from an out-universe perspective. You have to answer it from the perspective of Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama wants his main character Goku to remain somewhat unique. And one way that he can do that is by having him know things, having him know techniques that only he knows, to keep the main character unique, to keep him relevant, to keep him that he's special. Okay, that's really the true way to answer this. That's why Goku knows this instant transmission and the Spirit Bomb and all these unique things, because those are Goku things. Those are things for the protagonist, the main character, because that's kind of what you get. That's the perks that you get with it. Do you like Detective Conan? Yes, actually, to be funny with you, I watched that. I watched the anime a couple years back. Now the thing is, I stopped watching it because it was insanely long. But I also stopped watching it because I got into it for. I didn't think it was what I thought it was when I was going into it. I liked it and all. I thought it was very interesting, but I thought Detective Conan, Case Closed, whatever, was going to revolve around Conan, if I remember. I think that's his name. Conan, yeah. It's going to revolve around him trying to trying to get an antidote for the serum that was fed to him in the first episode. I thought it was going to be like, a mystery to try to find out who did this to him, and eventually he would return back to his normal self. But that's not what the show is about. The show is just him about perpetually staying a kid. And I kind of was disappointed in that, because I thought that the show was going to be like a mystery of how is he going to find his culprits, and how is he going to return back to normal. And I thought that teenage James Conan, whatever, I thought he was so cool, and I thought he would. I was waiting for him to return back to normal, but he never did. So I just kind of went out of it. Was there an opportunity to meet another DBZ YouTuber like Blackenfist in real life? Thanks, and greetings from Austria. This will be the last question, guys. And no, there hasn't really been an opportunity for me to meet another DBZ YouTuber. Perhaps that will be in the future. I definitely think that will be in the future. But no, but thank you. I'm glad to see I have fans really from all over the world. But those have been your questions, guys. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter or ask me on ask.fm if you want to end up here in the next Q&A. Because if you want to end up in the next Q&A, you can ask me all these questions on these accounts. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter. Because I will be announcing on Twitter when these Q&As come out before they come out. So that'll give you the heads up. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed all my answers. But until next time, I'm Blackenfist, and I'm out, man.